No, Jungkook almost stamps his foot, answering too abruptly. And anyway, I'm going to take a shower. He shakes his head, taking a step back. And then I'll dance for you so that you can finally get the you, along with your dumb questions. The boy quickly retreats to the bathroom, shutting the door behind him as it slams against the walls. Taehyung sighs and shakes his head in frustration. Sometimes he himself wonders why he is dealing with a child. But then the memories of Jungkook resurface in his thoughts and the man realizes that he is still ready to endure some things for the sake of this. And Jungkook, closing the door behind him, immediately leans back against it and covers his eyes. He's a fool. But you've pissed him off so much, and Jungkook hasn't slept in so long, and he's feeling tired and irritable, and it seems like any little thing now can piss him off. He sniffs and then tosses his suit and makeup bag on the floor and rubs his face with his hands. He doesn't know for sure, in an attempt to drive away the fatigue or to prevent himself from crying. The boy exhales noisily and ignores how his breath trembles, and then moves away from the door, wearily starting to pull off his clothes. Control yourself, Jungkook, the boy mentally pleads. You can do it. No matter how tired you are. Just work this night out and then you'll sleep. Jungkook bites his lip almost to the blood, feeling that childish resentment and a sense of universal injustice that has fallen on his shoulders, and turns on the water. Accustomed to the not quite functional home shower, he waits a few more moments for hot water to run before he finally steps inside. Hot water, that enveloping his body with warmth, makes him relax, but at the same time he also feels all the fatigue accumulated over the past few days. Having quickly opened a disposable bag of gel, the boy tries to wash his whole body as quickly as possible to get rid of the traces of the working day, and exposes his face to the water, closing his eyes. Jungkook doesn't notice when another soft sob escapes his lips, and he hides his tears under the stream of water, scolding himself for standing and crying in his boss' bathroom right now when he has to go back to his office and dance for him very soon. And he doesn't even think that there is no music at all. And that for the dance he, most likely, is not strong enough. Jungkook hopes that at least he won't collapse to the floor from exhaustion. And if he will not, this night can be considered successful already. Washing off the soapy suds, the boy takes a few deep breaths, refusing to admit that he let himself cry, and washes a few more times, but his eyes are still a little red. At the very least, Jungkook thinks, he just wants to trust that in the dark of his office, Mr. Kim won't care. After quickly wiping his body dry, Jungkook takes a few deep breaths, making sure he's not sobbing anymore, and starts getting dressed. Today everything is quite simple, short white shorts and a large white mesh t-shirt. Exhaling, picks up his makeup bag and walks over to the mirror. It is unlikely that something will help his face now, the boy is sure, but still he's trying to fix everything with makeup. He lines his eyes a little with the dark kajal so that the redness is not so noticeable, lightly powders and adds just a little sparkle to the eyelids. Sniffing his nose, Jungkook stares at the reflection, feeling all his organs trembling inside from this incomprehensible nausea, and his stomach painfully aching. It's okay, he reassures himself once again. This night is not much worse than any of the previous ones. You've just become weaker, but, afraid of crying again, the boy's in a hurry to break eye contact with himself. Jungkook hates it. Hates being weak. But every day it gets more difficult, and he's not sure how much longer he can cope. No gap in the foreseeable is expected. and that's what scares him the most. Breathing more air into his lungs, Jungkook opens the door and looks back into the office. The air is cooler here than in a hot steam bathroom, and Jungkook feels a slight breeze licking his bare legs. "Mr. Kim, I'm ready," he says softly, noticing that the man is back at work. Jungkook clears his throat in an attempt to get his attention. "I'm ready, yeah, come here." Taehyung nods, removing one of the pages and moving on to the next one. "They're here." Jungkook swallows. He straightens up and then hesitantly moves towards the boss desk. "Sir, I wanted to ask there's no music here, so how do you want me to dance for you?" "I don't want you to." Taehyung shrugs, and then, sitting in his chair, slightly moves out from behind the table. Jungkook sees the man slap his knee with his free hand, and the sound crawls under his wet, cold skin, causing goosebumps. "Do I need to make an invitation?" Taehyung mutters, brow furrowed as he reads the documentation. "Should I sit down?" "Yes." Jungkook takes another deep breath, and then, coming closer, stands in front of the man and hesitantly touches his shoulder. The next second, "Like that, sir?" the boy asks almost in a whisper, when he's face to face with Taehyung, and Taehyung nods, leaning slightly to the side, too busy with his work. "So, you want me to?" "What?" he asks, exhaling breathlessly. "I don't understand, Mr. Kim. I really don't. I want you to do nothing, Jungkook. Just sit." "I like it when you sit on me," the man shrugs. "It feels nice." "What is something wrong?" Taehyung finally looks up at him. And he hadn't seen Jungkook this close in a long time, being completely alone with him. "Oh, your makeup. You don't like it?" "I like it. I like it very much." Jungkook nods, unable to answer, and has been squeezing the man's shoulder ever since he touched him to help him sit up. "I'm just trying to say that you look great," Taehyung says, sounding a little softer now. The corners of his lips almost tremble in the desire to smile. "And also, I don't like that you seem crying, but if I ask, you won't answer, so I don't want to start an argument again," he continues, saying it like he's saying the most mundane things. "So, sit on me, okay? I feel relaxed when you do this. I have one more thing to finish so I can make time for you. So for now, just sit on me. This will help me not to strain while I do my work. Isn't that weird, Mr. Kim?" "I don't know." He lets out a chuckle. "Is that weird? Because personally, it's fine with me. Besides, isn't that better than dancing? You don't even have to do anything, baby boy. Just help me to relax a little." "Yes, sir." Taehyung is silent for long seconds, looking at his face up close, a smile still flickering on the man's lips as he raises a hand to touch the ends of Jungkook's soft caramel damp hair, albeit a little darker with the water than usual. "If you would always be so calm and obedient, it would be easier for both of us to live. If I would always be so calm and obedient, you would already be tired of me," Jungkook whispers into his lips. Mr. Kim's eyes are so attractive green now that he doesn't even understand how he can't tear himself away from them. Jungkook notices how a light flickers in Taehyung's eyes. "You're right," the man chuckles, lowering the tone of his voice. "Just like someone might be listening. Just, don't overdo it. Sometimes you make me angry with this. And I'm not kidding, baby." "Then don't go too far," Jungkook says quietly, and then shrugs his shoulders. "I've been told enough rudeness as it is. Please don't be one of those people, Mr. Kim. You yourself know that as long as you talk to me normally, I behave the same way with you, as you wish. The man smiles at him with the corner of his lips. Now please let me work so I can make time for you a little later. Really comfortable? Well, when I sit on you like this, yes, I'm quite comfortable. Just don't move too much so I don't get distracted. Jungkook freezes, and the meaning of what was said comes to him only moments later. Oh, yes, sir. I got you. Great, baby. Taehyung nods, running his thumb over Jungkook's cheek. Give me some time and be quiet. Okay, yes, sir. Taehyung nods, eyebrows quirking slightly as if with a hint that Jungkook should sit comfortably, and Jungkook sighs. Okay. It's weird, but it's okay. Mr. Kim is nice to him right now, and Jungkook really took the risk of asking him to be less rude, so he could try to be nicer too. If his boss doesn't cross the line again. So now, shift. Jungkook holds on to the man's shoulders with both hands and leans to the side quite a bit, allowing Taehyung to have access to his desk. The boy feels awkward only for the first few minutes, really afraid to move, until he notices how gradually the man's body becomes completely relaxed, and he doesn't seem to feel the weight of Jungkook's body on him at all. And if Mr. Kim is really comfortable with that, then maybe Jungkook needs to try to feel it too. And 10 minutes later the boy really starts to feel bored. A few times he even has to bite his tongue because the question how much longer almost flies off it. As if, damn it, they are generally in a hurry and waiting for something. But sitting like this, doing absolutely nothing, Jungkook feels the tiredness overtake his body again. And if he danced, it wouldn't have happened. But Jungkook is not dancing. Jungkook sits on his boss. The man strokes him, hearing the measured breathing somewhere next to him, and he doesn't notice when he puts his head on Taehyung's shoulder. Jungkook. Taehyung calls softly, feeling the boy's hot breath on his neck, looking up from his paperwork. Is everything okay? It's just that my back hurts, Jungkook mutters. Sorry. I'm sorry for that. It's okay. Taehyung laughs softly. And it's the first time Jungkook thinks his laugh sounds so light and even sincere. Without all this ridicule and arrogance. I just didn't expect you to do it. But it's even more comfortable that way. Taehyung doesn't answer to that. He just nods contentedly at some of his thoughts, takes a deep breath, and gets back to work. He alternates between the documents in his hands and the ones he has opened on his laptop, and now the boy's breath, warming his neck, seems even more pleasant. Jungkook breathes calmly and slowly, his hands still on the man's shoulders, and Taehyung can feel the warmth of the boy's own even through the fabric of his trousers. It feels nice, and Kim even thinks he could get used to working that way. After all, no one can stop him from doing it. Except, perhaps, Jungkook himself, who during the day, when Taehyung's main work process takes place, is busy studying and working in his stupid coffee shop. And he must be busy on his knees. Speaking of the coffee shop, Taehyung says unexpectedly, making Jungkook startle up. But the boy doesn't lift his head from Taehyung's shoulder, too tired even for that. I really don't like what Hanbin does to you. I don't care, Jungkook mutters quietly. Well, I mean, it's not about you not liking it, but about Mr. Hanbin. Although, about the first one too, actually. Yup. Taehyung lets out a chuckle as he flicks through the file he opened on his laptop and nods. Joking aside, baby, but if my wife hadn't decided to get you out of there today, God knows how much longer you'd have to stay in there. And what can I do? Jungkook shrugs and suppresses a yawn. He's my boss just like you. And there are things he makes me do. Just like you. Exactly. Taehyung tenses slightly. Jungkook not only hears it in his voice, but feels it in the muscles of his shoulders under his own thin fingers. I knew Hanbin, Jungkook. And I don't want him to go any further, will he? Absolutely.